Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about a question that can make family dinners very interesting. Should you rent instead of buying? Most of us have heard the same lines. Renting is throwing money away. Buy as soon as possible. Your landlord is getting rich off you. But the truth is more nuanced. Buying a house can be a great decision, and it can also become an expensive trap if the timing, price, or assumptions are wrong. Renting is not always failure. Sometimes it is flexibility, protection, and a way to keep your cash flow strong while you invest the difference. Let us start with the famous statement, renting is throwing money away. It sounds responsible, but it is not always true. Yes, rent is money paid to someone else. But when you buy, you also pay people who are not you. You pay the bank interest. You pay property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, HOA fees, closing costs, and selling costs. The better question is not, am I throwing money away by renting? The better question is, how much unrecoverable money am I paying in each situation? This question matters more today because the cost of buying has changed. Mortgage rates have been much higher than the ultra-low rates many people remember. Freddie Mac reported that the 30-year fixed mortgage averaged 6.23% on April 23, 2026. A house at 3% and the same house around 6.5% are not the same decision. Same kitchen, same backyard, same hallway, very different monthly payment. A home can build equity and still make you feel broke every month. Let us tell a simple story. Meet Maya and David. They are both 32, live in the same city, earn good money, and want financial security. David decides to buy a house. Everyone congratulates him immediately. Smart move, they say. You are building wealth now. Maya decides to keep renting. People ask when she is finally going to buy. Maya smiles politely, but she does not make the decision based on pressure. She does the math. Here are the assumptions for our example. David buys a house for $450,000. He puts 20% down, which is $90,000. His mortgage is $360,000 at 6.5% for 30 years. His principal and interest payment is about $2,275 per month. He also pays about $13,500 in closing costs. Maya rents a similar home for $2,500 per month. Instead of buying, she invests the down payment and closing cost money, $103,500 up front. David thinks about the mortgage payment first, $2,275. But that is not the full cost of owning. Now add property tax, about $450 per month. Add insurance, about $150. Add a maintenance reserve, about $375. Add HOA or other ownership fees, about $100. David's first-year ownership cost is roughly $3,350 per month. The house is not just a dream, it is also a monthly bill. Maya rents for $2,500 per month. In the first year, that is about $850 less than David's full ownership cost. Maya also keeps the $103,500 that David used for down payment and closing costs, and she invests it. This is the part people forget. Renting only works financially if you do something productive with the money you save. The strategy is not just, I rent. The strategy is, I rent, protect my cash flow, and invest the difference. Now let us fast forward 10 years. David's house appreciates by 3% per year, so it is worth about $604,762. But he still owes about $305,194 on the mortgage. After selling costs, his net home equity is about $263,283. Maya invested her upfront money and the monthly savings. At a 7% annual return assumption, compounded monthly, her investment account grows to about $323,074. In this example, Maya comes out ahead by about $59,791. Why did the renter win in this example? First, David's mortgage interest was expensive. Early in a mortgage, a large part of the payment goes to interest, not principal. Second, David had high ownership costs. Taxes, insurance, maintenance, and HOA fees are real expenses. Third, Maya invested the difference instead of spending it. That gave her money time to grow. Fourth, buying and selling houses has transaction costs. Closing costs and selling costs reduce your return, especially if you do not stay for a long time. During the first few years, David enjoys his home. He paints the walls, buys furniture, hosts friends, and feels proud. There is nothing wrong with that. But his budget is tight. The property tax bill rises. Insurance renews higher. The water heater breaks. One year there are repairs. Another year, appliances need attention. Meanwhile, Maya does not control every part of her rental, but when the air conditioner breaks, she calls the landlord. She has more monthly breathing room, and every month she invests. By year 10, she realizes she was not throwing money away. She was buying flexibility and investing the difference. Now let us be fair. Buying can absolutely win. Buying may be better if you plan to stay in the home for a long time, if owning costs are close to rent, if you get a favorable mortgage rate, or if the home appreciates strongly. It may also win if you value stability, want control over the property, can afford maintenance, and can buy without becoming house poor. Buying is not bad. Buying is simply expensive. Expensive decisions need math. Renting can also have benefits that do not show up in a simple equity chart. Renting can give flexibility. If your job changes, you can move more easily. Renting can reduce responsibility. If the roof leaks or the furnace dies, you usually call the landlord instead of paying thousands. Renting can preserve liquidity, which means easier access to money. Home equity is real wealth, but you cannot take one brick off the house and use it to pay an emergency bill. Renting may also reduce concentration risk because your wealth is not tied to one property in one city. Housing is emotional. A home can mean stability, pride, family, safety, community, and a place where nobody tells you not to paint the wall navy blue. Those things matter, but emotions should not replace math. The danger is buying because you feel behind, because everyone else is doing it, or because social media made you feel like adulthood starts at homeownership. That is not a plan. That is peer pressure with countertops. A home should support your life, not suffocate it. Before buying, ask yourself 6 questions. How long do I plan to stay? What is the full monthly cost of owning, not just the mortgage? What would it cost to rent a similar place? What will I do with the money if I rent? Will buying make me house poor? Am I buying for financial reasons, emotional reasons, or social pressure? These questions do not tell everyone to rent. They help you slow down and make a clearer decision. In our 10-year example, Maya the renter came ahead. David's estimated net home equity after selling costs was about $263,283. Maya's investment account was about $323,074. Maya came out ahead by about $59,791. So in this case, renting was not throwing money away. It was a strategic choice. But the key is that Maya invested the difference. Buying a house can be a beautiful decision, but it is not automatically better than renting. A house can build wealth, but it can also drain cash flow. Renting is not always throwing money away. Sometimes renting is buying time, flexibility, and room to breathe. Sometimes, if you invest the difference, renting can leave you ahead. So before you buy, do not ask only, "Can I afford the mortgage?" Ask, "Can I afford the full cost of ownership? And will this decision give me more freedom or less?" That is the real question. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.